So what we're looking to do here is first get into a slight lunge position. Now what I've done is I've shown the shape of my hips because this is really important when we look at the way the pelvis moves whilst we're walking. Now if people have lower back complaints or find they get irritation from doing a lot of walking or running, it may be the fact that you have an imbalance or you have weakness around the muscles of the hip. So this is why I've got this like lunge stance where one foot is forward and one foot is back, and this is a little bit further than my normal stance. So I'm not quite into a lunge position, but I'm doing this as quite a accentuated stride, shall we say. Now what we'd do is if somebody had poor strength in the glutes on this side, what you might find is that they drop the hip on the opposing side as they don't have the strength to pick up this hip. So if your hips kick out to the side, doing this movement isn't going to be as beneficial as we want. We want to make sure the hips are in line like so, and we have a nice straight table. And luckily you can see in the background with the shelf is that you want to imagine that your pelvis is in line with this imaginary shelf in the background and not tipping to the side like that, which again all the contents of the shelf would then fall off. So we want to make sure we're in this position and straight. So if you have a partner who can look at you straight on, or you can do this in a mirror, that is very helpful. Once we've done that, we're going into a slight bend in the knees and a hip tuck. So if you have a anterior pelvic tilt, or your hips are tilted forward, or you have a lot of tightness in the lower back, we want to scoop the hips underneath and do a little crunch where we're bringing our pubis, so basically the front of our pelvis, up towards our rib cage. So we're scooping underneath and having slightly soft knees so we don't have any pull through the hamstrings or the lower back. So it's important you bend your knees, and then we're going to go into that pelvic tilt. Once in that position, all we're going to do is we're just going to shift our weight from side to side and just find where we have instabilities. So I'm just going to play around with my foot position and see where I want to naturally lie. Once I do that, I'm going to straighten myself up into this position and then just breathe out as I come back up and breathe in, dropping back down. And remember, this isn't a lunge. We're just looking to align the heel, the knee, and the hip, so the center of the hip together, and pick up this left hand side. So pick up this opposing side and very carefully match it with our breathing. So we're inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up, keeping that pelvis straight, inhaling, exhaling. Inhale into the motion, exhale. Now, as you get fatigued or if you add load, what you may notice is this. So I'm here purposefully doing this wrong and kinking out to the side. So if I have too much load or I can't stabilize through the hip, I will find this happen, and I will obviously still be stimulating the quad. I'll obviously still be stimulating the glute max. However, I may be creating some compensations around my midriff and my glute stabilizers and all the muscles that are internal, as well as creating a shortening of the adductors on this side and a lengthening of the adductors on that side. So what we want to be doing is really focusing on low intensity body awareness, inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. And as you can see here, I have my hands in this position so I can lock the middle part or the halfway point of my abs in towards my rib cage and make sure I'm not going into that the anterior tilt where my hips fly back. And again, it's matching the breathing with the inhalation on the way down, exhalation on the way back up.